please. Alan Scott.
With Parliament taking steps to introduce same-sex marriage, is it time for the Northern Ireland Assembly to follow suit?
Yes, same-sex marriage, which, yes. Seems to be not quite so popular in the Parliament here as in the Parliament in... Well, that's not the Parliament here, the Assembly here. Ian Paisley, you better kick off on this, hadn't you?
Why ever should I? But, yes, well, look, I'm unapologetic about this. I take a very traditional view on marriage. And I know that it is probably very unpopular nowadays, and I'll be accused of being a dinosaur and being behind history and all the rest of it. But I believe marriage is fundamentally about children. That's about creating children who in turn create society and create family and create society and create stability in that way. And that's my interpretation that I have of it. Now, I know I will be vilified now for having that view. No doubt I'll be accused of being homophobic. No doubt I'll be accused of being close to being racist and everything else that is nasty and bad in the world, because it is a traditional Christian view. And the reason why Christians are vilified about this point of view is because we're to be scared off from expressing that point of view. But I will express it proudly and honestly because it's how I feel. It's also how, quite frankly, the majority of my constituents feel. Over the last year and a half, I received a postbag on this particular issue, especially whenever the Prime Minister turned from his position of not having this in his manifesto to suddenly making it a primary party policy for the Parliament. I received something like 3,000 individual contacts from constituents saying to me, you must stand up against this. I received 5 letters of opposition to it. And I must say that whilst that's only a vox pop in my own constituency, I believe I'm in tune with the people who sent me to Parliament to say to government, think again about this. It's divisive. It's divided your own Parliament. It's divided your own party. Indeed, I walked through the lobby with more Conservatives than Theresa was able to walk through the lobby with on this particular point. It is ripping people apart. And we've seen in the last election that the UKIP made significant inroads and have chalked up this divisive policy on that road. I am not opposed to homosexuals. I believe that homosexuals have and are entitled to...
You say you're pretty repulsed, but you say you're pretty repulsed.
I'm repulsed by many things, but
no,
let me...
No, wait a minute,
that is actions, David, as opposed to individuals.
Don't bulldoze me in the Paisley manner.
I would never bulldoze David Timberlake, who's good at bulldozing everyone else in this panel.
Let me just then, in that case, give you this quote. I am pretty repulsed by gay and lesbianism. I think it's wrong. Daddle-daddle-dum. You can't then say you're not against it.
Well, sorry, the daddle-daddle-dum was the actions which I was talking about, not the specific individuals. I'm repulsed by people who are not homosexual as well on many occasions and by their actions. And I think, it should be taken in the round, that particular comment.
Immoral, offensive and obnoxious, you say.
But I will...
Is that... do you stand by that?
Well, I'm entitled to those views, yes. I'm entitled to those... No, I'm entitled to those views, and indeed I will be challenged by them and accused of having all manner of opposition.
I'm not challenging you for having the views. You just said earlier you weren't against gay relationships, and now it seems as though you probably are.
I've said I'm not against individuals, and I think that I'm entitled to have a position. But I'll tell you this. Parliament has now put this forward. It now goes to the next session of Parliament with regards to the House of Lords. It'll be interesting to see what comes back to us. But Parliament is incredibly divided by it. And I think that we've got to recognise that it wasn't in any manifesto, there was no significant mandate, and I can't for the life of me understand why this particular government has decided to champion it at this particular time. But no doubt it's an unpopular point of view.
Not entirely. Peter Tatchell.
Well, I think the British people have spoken very clearly. All the opinion polls show that, one YouGov poll showed that 71% of the British people believe that gay couples should have the right to marry in civil ceremonies in register offices. And in total, 58% of religious people also agreed that gay people should be able to get married if they wish. And of people intending to vote Conservative at the next election, 57% of would-be Conservative voters support equal marriage too. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any issue in British public life where so many people were in favour. Now, your point, I'm sorry and sad that you've got these intolerant views, but that's your right. That's your right.
Thank you.
But in a democracy, we are all supposed to be equal before the law. I object to the fact that you want to impose your particular religious faith an interpretation of religious
No, I don't.
faith on the rest of us
No, I don't.
using the law of the land.
No, I don't.
You're saying that because you believe that homosexuality is wrong or repulsive or obnoxious, that therefore the law should discriminate.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. You can get married tomorrow, Peter. You just can't get married to a man.
Well,
So
I'm
you're
sorry.
not being stopped. You're a gay man. You're entitled to get married to a woman.
Come on. No,
You know,
that's below the
You're
belt.
entitled to get
seriously.
married. So the law doesn't stop
I
you.
think most people will see through that. But anyway, the point is, in a democratic society, we should all be equal before the law. And that also includes the right of heterosexual couples to have a civil partnership. And I supported the moves to open up civil partnerships to heterosexual couples. And I'm really sad and disappointed that the government, which claims it's legislating equality for gay people in marriage law, won't support equality for straight people in civil partnership law. That's not consistent.
OK. The woman in the third row from the back, yes, you.
Just in relation to a few things that Ian Paisley said, when you talk about marriage, the main thing about marriage being about the creation of children, that's a massive slap in the face to any couple who chooses not to have children or can't have children. You're shaking your head, but it is.
Well, do you want me to answer it?
No, just let her make the point. We've got to get round the
I think
table.
that when you're talking about the issue of equal marriage, it was tearing Parliament apart, tearing parties apart. The real things that tear people apart is whenever our politicians are getting up on a public platform and telling young LGBT men and women, and those who don't define in the binary, that being gay is repulsive and obnoxious and disgusting.
Right.
And I mean, I feel sorry for you that you have those views.